Help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
He is, and you are. This is the Conservative Commandos radio network. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com and ccrshow.com. Or mornings at 9 a.m., log on to Leading Edge Radio Network. At 1 p.m., www.roarradio.net. And at 6 p.m., log on to the Pundit Press. And you can listen. If you don't want to wait, you can listen anytime to the Conservative Commandos by dialing 832-999-1199. Some toll charges might apply, depending where you're calling from and who provides you your cell service. On the phone with us is Andrew Harrod, freelance researcher who holds a Ph.D. from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy and a J.D. from George Washington University Law School. He's a smart guy. He's published hundreds of articles, and he's been dissecting these Israel haters that recently turned up in D.C. at an event hosted by the Service Employees International Union. You can call that the street corner guys for the Democrat Party, and they proceeded to bash Israel. Andrew, thank you for staying with us. My co-host, and in fact, the show's founder, Rick Trader, has a question for you.
Andrew, great to have you with us again here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. In your article, you have in here the panel discussion was dredging up the well-worn assertion that U.S. suffers from its alliance with Israel. That's how they started this panel discussion. And what problem I have, Andrew, is if you tell the lie enough times, people are going to believe it. Verbal engineering always precedes social engineering. How do we counteract that lie, Andrew?
Well, I think in Israel's case, we should note the benefits that Israel does indeed enjoy from this strong alliance we have. I mean, we do indeed have great military intelligence cooperation with Israel, which was sort of in passing noted by Pilar but downplayed. I mean, particularly if you think of all these various terrorist jihadist threats, it's important to have intelligence on the ground in the region, and Israel counters many similar groups of Hamas and Hezbollah that are interrelated with the Muslim Brotherhood, wider Muslim Brotherhood organizations, or Iran, Hezbollah being a proxy of Iran, or they're also interrelationships with the Islamic State or Al-Qaeda. So it's important to have intelligence resources from Israel on the region and the types of ideologies behind these groups. Military cooperation on many of our weapons are precisely battle-tested by Israel. Also, if you think of the regional support that we get from Israel, Israel, for example, on 2 occasions has engaged in military nuclear non-proliferation, most decisively in 1981, where they destroyed the Ozark reactor, which brought opposition actually from the United States and others at the time. But if you think of what consequences that had for the first Gulf War, where it denied Saddam Hussein the ability to field a nuclear weapon, where once again Saddam Hussein was very close to having a nuclear weapon before the first Gulf War. Had it not been for that Israeli strike, could have very well have developed a nuclear weapon. And then that was then followed on in 2007 by another Israeli strike against Syria's nuclear reactor and their program.
Right. But what I'm getting at, Andrew, is how do we fight the lie that the U.S. suffers from its alliance with Israel? What you just said is great, and I understand it, as Kevin did, but people only hear things in short sound bites. But how do we counteract that lie that the U.S. suffers from its alliance with Israel?
Well, I guess I myself and others, we just keep trying to get information out there. I mean, this article and others are part of sort of exposing these individuals, looking at their arguments, finding out who they are. I guess it's ultimately a question of information warfare and of countering arguments, countering on campus, countering it in journalism, in politics. And indeed, some indications they said that this will become a more partisan issue. I think then for conservatives and the Republican Party, it's going to become more of an issue of countering any movements within the Democratic Party, within more left-wing forces to go against Israel. So I think having information and knowledge is really key.
Andrew, this is Kevin Wade again. I don't usually do this, but let me ask my co-host, Rick, because usually when we have a guest on, we let our guest tell his story. Mm-hmm. And thank you very much, Andrew, for being with us. But I want to interrupt this for a second and just ask my co-host, how do we combat this big lie from the left? What, in your opinion?
I see the right always getting caught in this trap of defense. And I don't mean national defense. I mean defending your theories, your issues. And to counteract a lie, how do you counteract a lie?
You have to have a big truth.
You have to have the truth, and you have to expose the lie.
Andrew, help me out here because we're having a dispute in the studio. But you can't counteract a lie with another lie. Because ultimately the audience finds out you're both frauds.
In terms of its relationship, I don't think it's another lie. I mean, I think the facts are clearly for Israel. That, as I was indicating, there are indeed a pillar of support for the region. Jordan as well benefits from Israel, having Israel next door to back it up against, say, in the past, Syria, where they threatened invasion in 1970 during Black September, or in any other future threats. Or now Egypt and Jordan as well have extensive intelligence cooperation with each other against threats like the Islamic State or against Hamas. So there again, Israel is a support for the region. Or now vis-a-vis Iran, the Saudis. Recently Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, the Saudi prince, was saying that he'd be against any Palestinian uprising and was seeking more of a closer ties with Israel, precisely to counter a growing Iranian hegemony in the region. So there again, Israel, for all of these Arab states, however much they criticize Israel, is often precisely backing them up, a pillar of support for them and stability in the region.
Yeah, my take on it, Israel is a beacon and an outpost of Western civilization in a part of the world that sorely lacks what you and I would call...
the world, like Europe and Asia, Israel is yet again another one of those free societies with which we're allied. And in the Middle East, it's really the only such society of its nature there.
If you've ever been, it's amazing. I mean, you're in a city that looks like anything in Texas or Georgia or Southern California, a city in Israel, and within a 45-minute drive, you can be looking at a Bedouin encampment, and you're seeing the contrast between a population and a culture fully engaged in the 21st century and a population and a culture fully engaged in the 8th century. And East is East and West is West.
Contrast. I mean, simply, I personally haven't been to Israel, but there's obviously a dramatic contrast between this free society in Israel, vibrant, increasingly wealthy, advanced technologically, and say, what Hamas is doing over the Gaza Strip, or various organizations, the Palestinian Authority doing in its territories, or all the fighting and civil war breaking out in Syria, or Hezbollah with its domineering influence in Lebanon, or the Muslim Brotherhood seeking to take control in Egypt. It's much poorer, more autocratic societies. Yeah, that's a dramatic difference.
Hey, can you tell our audience, because we're coming up at the end of the segment, can you tell our audience how to follow your writings?
Well, you can find me all throughout the internet. My name is Andrew Herod, like the department store in London. One good place to go is Family Security Matters republishes a lot of my material from other websites. They have probably about 2/3 of my articles on Family Security Matters website. Or you can follow me on Twitter at AE Herod. And I always tweet out my articles, like this one here at Front Page Magazine. But you'll certainly find me on the internet. I'm not hiding.
Andrew Harrod, thank you so much for being with us on the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
All right, then. Excellent. Thanks for taking me on again.
Thank you. Great guest to kick off the week, Rick.
Absolutely.
And we're coming up on the 4 o'clock hour, or actually we'll just say coming up on the hour because we know we have listeners around the country. And if you would like to hear the rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com and ccrshow.com. Or mornings at 9 a.m., log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com. Or at 1 p.m., log on to Roar Radio, www.roarradio.net. Or at 6 p.m., log on to the Pundit Press, P-U-N-D-I-T-D, punditpress.com. And you listen to Conservative Commandos from any phone on the planet by calling 832-999-1199. I'm Kevin Wade. Our next guest is coming up in about, 5 minutes. You stay with us. We will be right back.
I really don't care. That's not real life. They say I'm nasty, but
You've heard Paul Dilks playing the music on the Your Music Matters morning show. He is also an experienced mortgage loan officer working for U.S. Mortgage Corporation and assists homeowners navigate the reverse mortgage process. If you are finding yourself asking questions whether or not you set aside enough for retirement, Paul can sit down with you, your family, and your financial advisor and discuss how a reverse mortgage may be a valuable resource for your retirement plan. You will be responsible for paying your taxes and insurance, and the reverse mortgage can help with this and other expenses, such as home health care or other untimely bills. Put Paul's 20-plus years of experience to work for you, as choosing the right option for your situation can be critical. Call Paul at U.S. Mortgage Corporation at 877-213-9977. That's 877-213-9977. Or go to seniormatters.info for more information. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is a licensed mortgage banker in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and an equal housing lender. NMLS number 3901. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is located at 201 Old Country Road, Suite 140, Melville, New York, 11747. This advertisement applies to first lien mortgages. Paul E. Dilks, NMLS is 485904.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811. PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We're establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired, as I am, about the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on WNJC Radio 1360 a.m. or around the world on the internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our websites, ConservativeCommandosRadioNetwork.com and CCRN.com for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos.